Hello, good morning, everyone. I hope that you are okay. And I'm sure that you are okay. Since you are here, that's a good sign that you are okay. Okay, we may have problems as everybody, but life goes on. We start with the homework. I told you to write a paragraph about flood, but as a narrative paragraph. Who would like to start, please, reading his paragraph? Yes. Talking about paragraph about flood. But you write it as a narrative paragraph. Yes. Yes. Yes, Hiba. Can read.
Can you hear me?
You speak up, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, better, but it's good if you can be close to your mic.
Okay.
And speak up.
January 6, 2021, it seems like a normal day, but not in Casablanca, the Moroccan's economic capital, because it's the start of a horrific flood who will destroy the city and the citizens. The heavy rains recorded in the city over the past weeks were characterized by their high intensity over short periods. This tragedy shocked the hearts of the citizens, because they are the most harmed part. The heavy rainfall destroyed homes, imaged clearly the cars and people's homes were demolished. Those consequences of affected negatively on the environment and the process of life.
Yes, I have difficulties to hear you well. I hope that the other students had the possibility to hear you. Let's see someone else. Someone to read his paragraph, please. So these are some of the drawbacks of distance learning or e-learning. Sometimes the quality of our devices or electronic devices can have a share in the success or failure in learning. It's a pity, but that's how things are. Yes, someone else to read this paragraph, please. But as I told you, the only way to prepare for the exam is to write. Okay? Reading, being present in classes, that can help. But the most important exercise that you have to do is to write. And of course, you can write about any topic and just compare what you have written with what your friends have written. And don't worry about working with others. They will not steal your style. It's impossible to steal the style of someone. And even if you are a good student, or you think that you are a good student, you benefit when you read your papers and you compare your work with others. Because sometimes when we work in our corner, especially when we were in the secondary school, the best students in our class, we tend to think that we will be always the first, and they'll be surprised that you'll find students coming from other schools who were also the best students in their classes in English. And then competition becomes harder. So don't work in your corner, in your ivory tower alone, thinking you are the center of the universe. Work with others. Teamwork is very important. Why I am focusing on teamwork? Because whatever the job you would like to do in the future, you have to learn a skill which is very important, which is the capacity, the ability to work with others. And when you work with others, you discover other characters, other type of persons that are definitely different from you. And they must be different from you because every one of us is unique. And so you exchange information first, and you know how to deal with people who are different from you. I mean, you can meet introverted people or extroverted people. You can meet nice people as you can meet nasty people. That's part of life, and you have to deal with that. Okay, managing conflicts. And that's what happened in the workplace. You'll meet different people and you have to live with that. Our mem has sent something. Let's see. It was a gloomy night when our neighborhood was flooded. It was an ordinary Sunday afternoon. I was in bed watching a movie on my laptop. Suddenly, a strong thunder was heard and it started raining. After 2 hours, the streets were running with water. Maybe I will write it, just copy it and put it here. Maybe you give us the remaining. Mariam, I'm waiting for the remaining part.
Teacher, can I try?
I will talk about the paragraph sent by your friend. Okay, so let's see what your friend has. Now, it's good that you. Why I say write, because when you write, we can discuss better what is seen. It was a gloomy night when our neighborhood was flooded. It was an ordinary Sunday afternoon. It's good that you have a Sunday with capital letter. Remember that days are always capital letter. I was in bed watching a movie on my laptop. Suddenly, a strong thunder was heard and it started raining. After 2 hours, the streets were running with water. It even got into our home because we on the... So, Mariam, see what is missing here? We live, okay. I was very afraid, so my parents tried to calm me down, and at this time our neighbors were screaming for help. However, nobody could help them since each one was busy with his own trouble. After understanding the shock, everyone in our neighborhood started pushing out the flood water using their own cleaning tools. Thankfully, at that moment, the drainage systems began absorbing some of the streaming water. Finally, we could salvage the situation, save our houses. Okay, now here we have why it is underlined here in green after 2 hours. What is missing here? Comma. Yes, we need a comma. All right, it's very important. Punctuation problems. Now here, there. Why problem with there? Correcting the homework now. No, who can suggest something? Why there is underlined? There it refers to what? No.
Everyone.
Everyone. There refers to everyone. That's why I put it in red. Everyone. It's not the neighborhood. It's his or her. Because everyone, this is a common mistake made by students, is that when they see everyone, they consider it as plural. Okay, whereas everyone refers to singular. Okay, now here, his or her. Everyone is a word that refers to a singular word. Yes, do you have any remark about this paragraph? What we said about narrative paragraphs? What do you think? Yes, Jalal talks about indentation. So indentation is missing. indentation. Beginning of paragraphs, we need indentation. This to remove. Beginning of paragraph. The paragraph is a little bit short. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
What is missing? If you remember when we talked about narrative paragraphs, we said that there must be things that we have to remember. It should be included in your, of course, more details, because as I told you, it's quite short. But look at the first sentence. Yes, what do you think? She started with, it was a gloomy night when our neighborhood was flooded. Yeah, what's the problem in tense? There's no problem in tense here. She has used the past, no problem. We said that in narrative paragraphs we need past tenses. قلب على ذبحت الشكل تاع الخشبه غير تسنى شويه دابا ترجع لك. see. Sorry, we lost my connection. We're back. Now, capital letter, it's capital letter. It is a capital letter here, no problem. What is really missing is this. When she said it was a gloomy night when our neighborhood was flooded, before that, no, we don't use were with it. Come on, to be in the past. It was. Now what is missing is before the event, all this part here. Okay, because when she started talking about flood, she is talking about the event. She is here. She starts development. Okay, and that's why maybe she could not find much to say and her paragraph was short. So you need 2 or 3 sentences. Can you see my screen? So whenever we lose connection, we lose the screen, and then I come back, just remind me in case you don't see the screen. So I think that before starting to talk about flood, you should say something that happened before. Okay, before flood. Okay, now here in general it is possible to what could be your suggestion? What would you say here before the event? What can you suggest? Talking about what? Before talking about well, flood is yes, Fatim Zahra starting to, it's good that before the flood we can talk about things happening. Yes, before, maybe we say the rain. She has talked about the rain. Yes, the situation before flood. And here it's good to create suspense by, for example, talking about what she was doing. Okay, it's good that some students are taking the, because as I told you before, I'm using the free version of Google Meet and I can't record. But if anyone can record, then you can share. That would be very helpful. Yes, what she was doing, okay, and mainly things that, you know, when you have those natural catastrophes, generally they come and we don't expect them. We are doing what we are doing, usually watching, as she was watching a film on the net, maybe talking with family members of the family, things going normal, yes, okay, and suddenly then maybe you can talk about the change in weather. Yes, maybe you can say that it was sunny. Yes, Mu'ad, that's a possibility to say that, yes, before no one would have expected that we would have flood. So it was normal day, kids were playing, yes. That's a good suggestion. So here you have something to say. At least you need 2-3 sentences before starting to talk about flood. Okay, it's only in the event, it's only in the development part here that we have to talk about flood, that you start talking about flood here. Okay, so before the event is missing in the paragraph of your friends, though it's a good paragraph, okay, not many mistakes, which is good, but if she had thought about saying something before talking about from the very beginning, we have flooded from the very first sentence. Okay, so just remember, please, that in your paragraphs, never start talking about the topic in the very first sentence. Prepare for it. And then in development, you can say, you can have much to say. All right? Now, is there any other remark? Yes, so as I told you, prepare the reader. Maybe it's a good technique to start with something and then completely opposite happens after. It's like the suggestion of one of your friends, Muad, who said, yes, it was sunny, people were doing their, and that's what happens in natural catastrophes generally. We don't expect them. Yes, so you have to prepare for the surprise, okay? So you were surprised as a person, and here you have involve the reader in your surprise. Okay, now, so this is, I think, the only thing that now here it's good that she mentioned at the end, finally, okay, to show that she is, that's a concluding sentence. And that's after the event. That could be part of the after event, which is good. All right. Not sure about the word salvage here, if it is appropriate. Because salvage, yes, it means to rescue. Well, to rescue, possible though. Yes, possible, and save our house. So here, unless you have many houses, and our house. Or you mean the houses of all the neighborhood? Possible. All right. Now, I would like you to suggest now a descriptive topic as something you have to prepare. One way to prepare for the exam. Can you suggest a topic, descriptive? Any suggestion? Yes, now here we have an example, suggestion from Khadija. Yes, the others. Try to be more specific. Yeah, I don't understand, Muad, what you want to say. Try to make your topic clear. When you say describe someone you know, the question that comes to our mind is why would we describe him or her? So maybe you have to specify more. And respect. So here maybe if you can add, describe someone you respect. And now here it makes it more specific. Concerts. Yes. A place. A role model. Okay. Describe someone. I think you'll have a lot to say here. Someone you respect. Okay, that would be a possible exercise to do to prepare for exams. By the way, maybe there will be a change. I don't know, but anyway, you will be informed. In case there is a change in the dates of the exam, you will be informed. Now, describe someone you respect. Now, a suggestion for a narrative topic. Can you suggest something for a narrative? And so there are many suggestions here. I have chosen one that gives you a possibility to take notes of all this, or at least some of these topics, and to write them again with friends. Okay? I don't. Hajar, yes. What do you mean in this case? You are talking about descriptive. Which case you are talking about? Now here, before the event, after the event, this is for narration. Because we said that topics we have events. Hajar Al-Gumiri, what do you mean by this case? Which case? I see that I'm talking to myself. But anyway, if Al-Gumiri wanted to say in descriptive paragraphs, again, in descriptive paragraphs, you will not start talking in the very first sentence about the person you are describing. Okay? So describe someone you respect, the description will start in the development, not in the first sentences. You need a topic sentence, an introducing sentence, in which you talk about people you respect in general or whatever, but the person you would like to describe, this should not start from the very first sentence. Now, okay, so in all events, in all topics, whatever the topic you are talking about, whether it is narrative or descriptive, do not start talking about your topic from the very first sentence. Okay? This will be left in the development stage. Okay, now, narrative. Now, narration, we have story, frightening experience, something that time that you participation in a volunteer work. Yes. A story. Difficult experience. Yes, and now here I would opt, so all the topics are good, but here I opt for one, your participation in a volunteer work. An embarrassing experience, whatever. Now here, again, it's on purpose that I have opted for a topic. You know, I know why something says, please change the topic, because they have never participated in a volunteer work. So you did. So yeah, so Haja, if you did, you have something to say. Now pay attention. It's not something that I impose on you, because anyway, today it's our last session. You write whatever you want. These are just suggestions, and it's not enough. Okay? Now, for those who have never participated in a volunteer work, you can imagine. Yes, just imagine if you have never participated, and that gives you an idea to think about what you may think of doing, because you know, most of the time we are concerned with ourselves, including me. I mean, I'm not saying an exception. it would be great if we can save some time for others. 1 minute, please, and come. The exam will be for all groups. We said that the time given to you is the 8th February. Change in the date will inform. So there is a possibility 8, and it's the 8th or changing to 15. Yes. So you'll be informed from administration. The exam for it will be narrative or descriptive. So if it is the administration who sent you, it means that yes. Okay, so you see that there is a problem here with coronavirus and many things that no need to talk about it here. Anyway, just be prepared. Write as many paragraphs as you can. So here, volunteer work. Even if you have never participated in a volunteer work, you can imagine. All right. So these are possibilities. Now, today we talk about descriptive paragraphs. Though you have another teacher, okay? In some cases, especially in writing paragraphs, we coordinate. If there is a change, be informed by your teacher anyway, okay? But normally, narrative or descriptive, this is what you have to expect to have in the exam. And maybe you have the same questions for all groups in writing paragraphs. Now we'll go slowly, so that we don't you can use Google Classroom if you want to ask me, but please, you know that you are a big number. In one group, we have more than 120 or 40 students. Can you imagine if someone though I said to some students, please don't write a feedback for whatever I'm writing in Google Classroom. There are some students who are nice. Whenever I person they say thank you, but I receive this as an email. Can you imagine 20, 30 emails saying thank you, and I have to open to see what's going on there, and then you see that the student is telling me thank you. So I would say welcome. There is no need to mention that. I'm doing my job. I don't need to thank me. I am paid for that. You don't need to thank me. Okay, so don't send me anything because you cannot imagine the number of emails that I receive, and I need to give a feedback. And whenever a student sends an email, well, he says, I have sent him 1 week and he did not answer, he didn't care about me. I'm receiving many mails. I don't use ENT because we did not start from the very beginning. Since it's working with the Google Classroom, why use the ENT? So maybe in second semester I will use the university platform. But since we started Google Classroom before talking about because the university platform was not ready at that time. So I did not see it a good decision to change the means so that students will not be confused. What matters is that you can hear me, and that's it. I mean, yes, we have the problem of not being able to record, but I'm sure that some students can record for the whole class, and then you share. Those who record can share with their friends. Now, let's look at how to write a descriptive paragraph. Now, look at the first lines, please. Read and tell me what you get. Something that you find interesting in these few lines.
Teacher, the interesting thing, can I answer?
Yes, you speak up.
Yeah. The interesting thing is the first
Speak up, miss. You have to speak up so that everybody can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
I said the descriptive paragraph. Let the reader touch and taste and see and hear and smell what you are describing. So this is the interesting thing that you have to do, to just let the reader, to let him in your descriptive paragraph, to let him know and feel what you are describing for him.
Yes. Why I am saying speak up, students? There are some students who have a low pitch in their voice, which can be a characteristic of their voice. But pay attention. In life, whatever job you are supposed to do, having a low pitch of the voice is negative. Okay? So that people can pay attention to what you're saying. They should hear you. Okay, and even if, for example, you are going at night alone somewhere and there is a thief who attacks you, and you would like to call for help, if you say help, 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 nobody can hear you. You have to learn how to scream, okay, to shout, so that people can help you. So having a low pitch of voice and this you can train yourself for. Okay, again, if you are a teacher or in any other job and your voice is linear, okay, you see there is no up and downs in your it's on purpose that from time to time I make my voice louder so that those who've been gone somewhere, they come back. Okay, and to wake some students up. I know that there are some students who are still under their blankets and listening to me in their beds, which is not professional, ladies and gentlemen. Wake up. You have to sit as if you are in a classroom to make yourself ready for learning. All right, now, as I told you before, whenever we say describe, because in the exam, you'll find a topic that starts with describe. Okay, it's like the topic suggested by your friend here. Describe someone you respect. So whenever you find describe, you understand that you are supposed to write a description. It's not narration. Okay, though I told you again that it is possible to have a type of writing where there is a mixture between narration and description. It is possible. Okay, but still, if the topic starts with describe, do not indulge in, do not include many events to the extent that you forget that you are writing a descriptive paragraph. Okay, again, if it is a narrative paragraph, don't describe a lot and forget that there should be events. So the goal of the exercise is that students should distinguish between a narrative paragraph where there are events, where there is a story, and descriptive paragraph where there is no story and no events. We may have few, but it's not the goal. Okay, now, as I told you, whenever students are given topics in which they have to describe, most of the time they focus on what they can see. Whenever I say, describe a place you visited, then you start telling me what you can see, which is good. But you forget to involve all your other senses. And this is what is mentioned here. Okay, retouch, taste, see, hear, and smell. These are the different senses. Okay, so remember, when you are in the brainstorming stage, do not focus just on what you can see. And maybe I would say you have a topic. Now, of course, you cannot use all the senses in all descriptive topics. It depends on the topic, of course. As I told you, for example, if I say describe an apple, can you give me 1 minute and I'll be back? Sorry, I'm back. No, as I told you, Muad, I told you that it is possible within a narrative paragraph to include some descriptions. In a pure narrative descriptive paragraph, no way, you don't introduce events. But we have a type of writing in which there is a mixture of narration and description. Okay. Now, if I put the example of describing an apple, as I told you before, maybe you can put something like this. I mean, feel free. These are my suggestions. I am here to suggest. You're not supposed to follow 100% what I'm saying, but I am suggesting to you what can be done. Because as I told you, students, whenever they are given a descriptive paragraph, a big percentage focus on the sense of seeing. Okay, and forget the other senses, mainly what you can touch, what you can hear, what you can smell. Now, in describing an apple, now you can describe, when you say see how it looks. Now here you are saying what you can see. You see that the first answer you have said is linked to what you can see, how it looks. Now, touch. Pay attention. You can describe an apple, describing when you touch it. Okay, whether it's hard, whether it's smooth, whatever, smooth surface, whatever. Of course, you can of course the taste. When you eat it, describe delicious, whatever taste. Here, now here when you eat, you can describe an apple when you eat it using your teeth and the sound you can hear. Okay, plus, so here while eating, you can describe what you can hear. And sometimes if you watch someone eating an apple, you have it's crunching, whatever, you have the desire to eat an apple because just by hearing the sound. And then the smell of the apple, appetizing, smile, whatever. So here, it's good if you can put all these table, and of course, not in all topics, you can include all the senses. Okay? For example, if you describe a person you respect, you will not include taste unless you would like to eat that person because you like that person very much. Well, so you can see, you just put them, and from the very beginning, see how if you can include something. And of course, the more you can include different senses, the more you have something to say. Okay, but if you limit yourself just on what you can see, your paragraph will be quite short. Okay, so feeling, including your feeling is a parasense. Okay, For example, you have an exam and you describe your feeling, butterflies in your stomach, for example, which is normal, something that we have. Me as a student, I have also experienced. It's not a big deal to be stressed. It's not a big deal. So the stress is reduced before the exam. It's normal to have that stress, and the stress dissipate when you start working. And of course, you'll have less stress if you are well prepared. The more you sweat before the exam, the less you sweat during the exam. Okay? So if you want to have a reduced stress, prepare well by writing many paragraphs. And please keep a track. Now you have computers, you have mobile phones. Please save. Excuse me. It's good if you can keep track of whatever you write. Why? I myself, though when I was your age, there were no computers because I'm quite old. And I used to have the old typing machines. And I got the idea when I was a student, whenever I wrote a paragraph or an essay, whatever, I used to type it and to write the date and to keep it. And it's interesting to see when you write something after 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you can read back what you have written and you can compare. And I will be surprised sometimes, because if you are a good student, you can write a good paragraph today. But if after 2, 3, 4, 5 years you lose contact with English, you don't use it much, you'll find it very difficult to write as you used to write 5 years ago, or the other way around. If you keep contact in English, if you keep on writing, and if you write after 5 years and you compare what you used to write 5 years ago, then you can see, you can remark the big progress that you have made. So either big progress or the opposite. Remember that in learning, if you stop learning for some reasons, you don't stay in your place. Okay, remember, we say in applied linguistics, we say that if you stop learning, we move to what we call the unlearning process, which means that if for some reasons you stop learning, what happens? For example, you have a good level in English today, but if you stop reading, if you stop writing, if you stop studying, after 5, 6, 7 years, maybe you will lose all your skills, because it's a process. It needs continuous practice. All right? So pay attention. It's like for sport. You can be someone who is good at sport now, okay? But if you stop practicing, you can try it. Suppose you practice sports 3 times a week or 4 times a week, and suddenly for some reason you stop. And you stop for 1 year. And then one day you would like to start practicing. You feel lazy, you feel tired, you will feel that it's very hard. And maybe sometimes you don't practice anymore. if you are good in English, you must be able to describe what you feel and what's in your mind. Problem if you are not good in English. Okay, so what's the problem is that you may have ideas, but you need the required vocabulary. Okay, now of course, don't forget that you are multilingual, and whether you like it or not, you think in Arabic, you think in French, you think in Amazigh, whatever languages you already know. And to write those ideas in English, that can be a problem sometimes. How you can solve the problem? By practicing, by writing, and each time now when you are at home, you can use dictionaries, etc., so that you find it difficult at the very beginning, and step by step you will be able to write. Now, and how we can start is, now when I have given the homework, many students have not written. Many students did not do the task because they say, I will do it, and then they never do it, or they find it difficult and they don't even try. So if you don't try it as a homework, how can you write it in the day of the exam? And again, I would like to remind you of not copying in case the exam is online. Don't make the silly mistake of copying from internet or even sharing your writing with a friend, okay? Even if it is your brother or sister. Because if we discover that a paper looks the same as another one, it's not only say the same, it's not meaning copying 100%. It can be few sentences copied from a friend can mean a bad mark for both students, so don't take this risk. Recently, I was contacted by one of the students who got 0, and then she told me, she sent me a mail saying, I have written well and I'm surprised to find a 0. My answer was that I have sent her the link, the internet link from where she has copied, and she stopped. I mean, she did not react anymore. That's a big problem. Remember that there are free software. I mean, I don't need to, all I need is to copy your essay and put it in the software of anti-plagiarism. And in a second, it can tell me whether you have copied or not. So you are part of the digital age. Don't make silly mistakes. Sorry to say, stupid things, copying, and then you'll be surprised to find a very bad mark. It's better to try and write a personal work than copying and having a very bad mark. Okay, so what you have to remember, please, include as many sentences as you can in your description. Okay? It's not just what you can see, what you can hear. Describe, for example, public hospital. That was one of the topics we gave once. So here you can describe what you can see, of course. And here in what you can see, you have much to say. And then it's good if you can include what you can hear in a public hospital. The smell of the public hospital. And your feeling, again here, the parasenses, how you feel when you are in any hospital. Okay? By the way, I always tell my students, when you feel unhappy, not satisfied with your life, visit a hospital. and you will come out thankful for being at least healthy. Okay. And if you are unsatisfied, again, more, then visit a prison. And then you see how lucky you are to be free to go wherever you want, not to be imprisoned somewhere. So senses include the different senses, the touch, the taste. You know, the taste, even when you describe a hospital, when you describe the smell you can hear, you can have, then smell has a connection with taste sometimes. The smell reminds you of a given taste, and then maybe you can make a connection. Not necessarily to be a logical connection, but it should be an acceptable connection. You are in a bus, you can smell the gasoline, and then it gives you an aftertaste. With all the consequences that we can have after having a bad smell, the consequences over your taste. We cannot taste the gasoline. You can smell it, and of course you can feel sometimes something in your mouth. Okay, it's like when you smell chocolate. Okay, when you smell chocolate, yes, there is the smell, and you have a taste, because without eating, I mean, you are just watching a chocolate. You have not eaten it, and then you yes, you have saliva, you have your mouth watering, and you feel the taste, because there is an association in our mind between smells. You know, it's like when you hear a music, a song. We have some songs that reminds us of something. Okay, it's like, for example, you have traveled last year somewhere, and while traveling, you at that time there was a song which was very famous, and you were singing with your friends, and then this reminds in your mind for a long time. Whenever you hear that song, it reminds you of that period. That's what I want you to do, to make kinds of associations between smell and taste, between what you can see, what you can touch, what you can see, etc. Of course, you cannot include, again, all the senses in all types of descriptive paragraphs. Yes, now, is there anything else here which is interesting in these lines? Yes, anything else? Yes, now here the connection. It's like painting a picture. Yes. So the connection between, it's like descriptive paragraphs. Looks like painting a picture, or in a modern way, taking a picture. Okay, so it's like You are, if I say describe the bus, it's like you take your camera and you take a picture and you can describe what you can see. I mean, here, so that the situation is, so that you don't fall in the trap of talking about events. Just describe what you can hear, what you can see, etc. So painting a picture or talking about a picture to someone who has not the picture in front of him. Can you imagine? You call someone on the phone and you describe him something that you can see. And for your description to be successful is when you involve the reader or the listener to your description to the extent that he can see what you can see. Okay? So involve the reader so that he can share, okay, what you can see, what you can hear, what you can touch, what you can smell, what you can taste, you can feel. Okay, so you involve the reader with you. So yes, that gives a kind of vivid, as your friend has mentioned, vivid description. Make it alive. Okay. Yes, so it is difficult. I would confess that descriptive paragraphs are difficult. It needs a lot of imagination, a rich vocabulary, and this you can acquire it with practice. The more you write, and the more you write different topics, the more you enrich your vocabulary and you have things to say. Besides, of course, reading, as many things as you can. You cannot imagine the time we waste in reading silly messages received in our WhatsApp account or Facebook. It's a lot of time, many lines about things that we don't benefit from. Can you imagine if you use this time reading things interesting about things that are related to your exams, to the lessons we are having? You cannot imagine the progress you can make if you manage your time well. So whenever you keep on reading things, ask yourself, what did I benefit from that? Why did I benefit if I receive a picture of a cake made by my friend showing me her talents as a chef? What would be the benefit? Well, the only benefit is that you envy her, you are jealous of her, you say, well, she has made a cake and me, I have a bisara in front of me, I am unhappy. Or someone who has visited another country and sending you a picture. Hey, hello, I am in Paris. What is your goal? To make people envy you, to make people jealous of you. And me, I am sitting in my corner. I have not traveled for many years. Well, I mean, stop it, please. Okay, so many of our messages, unfortunately, we don't benefit much. And I agree with you that from time to time, would like to receive jokes from friends, no problem. But again, if you spend hours reading jokes sent from the different friends, well, life is not a joke, by the way. Life is more serious than that. But it's good from time to time to listen to jokes. Okay, now, so here painting a picture. So just remember that you are watching something, listening to something, smelling something, and you would like that you share your experience with the reader, be it a teacher or anyone. And when he reads your paper, because remember that you will not be by the side of the reader when I will correct your paper. You will not be by my side. Okay? You tell me, I'm sorry, teacher, it's not this is not what I wanted to say. Actually, I want to say something, but I did not know the word, and I confused this word with another word, or no. So it should be when you send your paragraph, when you give your paragraph, make sure that you have written it in the best way, so that when I read your paragraph, I can see what you have seen. Okay? I can hear what you have heard. Now, instructions. Now here we have examples of smells and taste. Read these few lines and tell me what you get. Yes. Yes, you're right, Fatim Zara. You're right, Naya. So here, involve the reader as much as you can. Remember that you are not talking to yourself. When you write, you are writing for someone else. Okay? If you don't involve me, I will be bored. Okay? So involve your reader as much as you can. Make the reader live the moment with you. It's like he is part of the event. It's like you take me by the hand and you are taking me to the place, at least virtually speaking. Yes, okay. No, not future. He's present, as if he is with you in the same place and he is experiencing the same thing. Okay? So you have to involve the reader as much as you can. And you see here the smell. You smelt chocolate or cookies. And then this smell gives you that feeling of taste. It's like when you see lemon, okay? automatically when you see it, you have your mouth is watering, okay? And this is the impact or the connection between what you can see and what you can taste. All right. Now look at number 2. So just remember that whenever you describe a paragraph, always ask yourself, how can I include more than what I can see? Is it possible to include what I can hear? If it is possible, yes. If not, I mean, as I told you, it's not always possible. Can I include what I can touch, how I can feel, what I can smell? If it is possible, include it, and this will make your paragraph better, involving more details. What are your remarks about these few lines in number 2? Including the different senses. Yes. Yes. Instead of focusing only on what we can see. So this is the golden rule that you have to remember. Using many senses. Okay, and even in situations where it would sound queer to include other senses. It's like the example here. Look at the example. We're talking about what? Describing what? The silk garment. What is, who can explain to me what do you mean by silk garment?
It's a piece of clothing made by silk.
Yes, now here girls will be quick to answer. Maybe boys will have problems because silk is not generally worn by boys. Okay, but these are types of clothes, and silk normally now here, maybe you can, if I say describe your veil for someone who is veiled, then you can talk about it. You can talk about the color, whatever, and then here when you go to touch, then you can talk about the fact that it is made of silk and that it is smooth, etc. And here, what is interesting, the fabric, yes, and here even including the sound, which is queer. I'm talking about a garment or clothes. What's the connection with sound? And here, just to show, because silk is very, very smooth, very fluid, okay? And here, it had a sound of a gentle breeze. I mean, it's very well described, and including the word soft, because it is soft, yes. Nuhaila. So you see that here, the sound or what you can hear is included, though it is a little bit far-fetched. Okay. Yeah, if you want to describe clothes, generally you can describe what you can see, what you can feel. Maybe when you touch the clothes, you can talk about the quality, whatever, of the clothes. But to the extent of including sound, that's a little bit far-fetching. So if it is possible, you can do that. Okay, so not in all situations you can do that, of course. Now, another techniques that you can use in description. Look at these two sentences. And what you get. Figurative meaning, yes. What do you mean by similes? Use similes. You can give me an example if you want. In description, you can use a simile. What does it mean? Yes,
It's an,
when you compare.
it's an expression comparing one thing to another.
Yes.
With another.
Yes, so we have an example here. As cute as a kitten. That's an example. And generally, when you have a simile, you use words like as. So here we are making a comparis. Pay attention to the spelling. Comparison. This is due to the interference of French. Not all words that are pronounced in the same way in French have the same spelling. Again, this is a common mistake done by students. Now, in similes, we use words like as, okay, or like. By the way, we have many words like that. Where students, when I correct, they confuse the French spelling with the English one, like the word punctuation. Punctuation. Many students write it with O, whereas in English we write it with U. The word environment is not written like French. In French we say environnement. Environnement. With double N in French, with E, but in English, no double N and no E after N. Apartment in English, one P, in French, double P. Among other, development in English, one P. Okay, in French, double P. So please do not confuse government. Yes, you're right. Government again. We don't write it like French. You have O and you don't have an E after N, and we have many examples like that. So please, but here bourgeois, this word is used as it is in English. It is a French word that we use in English. All right, but just pay attention, please. Use a dictionary as much as you can. All right. Whenever you are not sure 1%, check a dictionary. I told you I use a dictionary myself every day. I'm not exaggerating.
Teacher?
Yes?
We can use the dictionary at the exam?
No. I'm sorry to say that. I would have liked you to use it, but it's, well, you can use it before the exam. Yes. So when you write your paragraphs, for example, please, when you meet with your friends, you can use Google Meet, whatever. You don't need even to meet face to face, so that you don't take the risk with coronavirus. So you can write, and then don't check the dictionary. Do it as if you are in the exam. Take 1 hour to write your paragraph. 1 hour, it means that you have finished. You have revised everything. So do it as if you are in the day of the exam. And then when you finish and you compare your papers with your friends, maybe your friends would say you have a problem here, or you yourself will have a doubt. Then check dictionary and then correct whatever you have written. But do it as if you are in the day of the exam. Okay, so one way to describe is to compare, and we have the technique of similes, where we use words like as, or like. Okay, and we have the other way, which is a metaphor. What is a metaphor? Jalal Hajar, you are writing in French here. Bilingual. Don't use bilingual dictionaries. Stop using bilingual dictionaries. What is the problem when you keep on using bilingual dictionaries? Is that each time you are thinking in Arabic or in Amazigh or whatever, and you are translating. But when you are a beginner, it can be accepted. But now you are a university student and you have to stop moving via translation, because they're making the task difficult for you. If we think of an expression in Arabic and you try to translate it, then you'll find it sometimes very difficult. So yes, so Hajar is explaining, we use as or like a kitten, for example. So and yes, a metaphor without using like. So this is the difference between a metaphor and a simile. Can you think of an example like the example I have mentioned here? So a simile is when you compare and you use words like or as. Yes.
Teacher, may I give an example?
Yes, you're right. If better, so that I can copy it.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you say tall like a tree, is it here a metaphor or a simile? Tall like a tree. What do you think? It's a simile. Yes? This is another example of a simile. Tall like a tree.
Teacher,
Uh-huh.
can I ask you what's the difference between them?
Between what?
A simile and a metaphor.
Well, this is what I have written. Is that in a simile, we use words like, as, or like. As cute as kitten, tall like a tree. But in metaphor, we don't use the words like or as. I'm waiting for an example so that it is clear.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
Yes, who would like to give me an example? Yes, so I tall like a day. Again, this is an example. Yes, now here, Jalal Hajar is giving us an example. He is a shining star. That's a good example of a metaphor. Here we don't say he is shining like a star. Okay? We say he is a shining star, or she is a shining star. Okay? So here we are not using, it's a comparison. We are comparing this person with a star, but we don't use like or as. Her hair was silk. Okay? Yes, she is a flower. Simile, she is like a flower. Sorry, yes, she's a simile, she is like a flower. Now here, your friend Nohaila is giving, for those who still have problems, to make a difference. So for the same description, a metaphor, she is a flower, okay? And a simile, she is like a flower. Now here the only difference is the use of like or as. Yes?
Of simile, can I give an example of simile? She's like a fairy tale.
Yes. And as a metaphor, we say she is a fairy tale. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so you understand the difference. Now, we go on. Number 4. Okay, yes, use powerful adjectives. Now, of course, use adjectives, yes. Okay, but again, do not use just the normal adjectives that we all know: blue, green, red. Now here you see that we move to aquamarine, indigo. So here, this you can get by having more practice, and it's more than that. Though in descriptions, adjectives should be used, yes, but I see why the computer underlines here. Why it underlines she's. Huh? Informal. Yes, we have to not to use contractions in writing. She is. Yes. So in writing, avoid contractions. Now, yes, now Hajar here is giving us many good examples of mixture of many adjectives, etc. And still, if instead of saying she is a beautiful woman, now here I'm using the adjective of beautiful, but it's good if you can include details that can, without saying that she is beautiful, describe that woman to the extent that at the end the reader would say, wow, she is a beautiful woman. Okay, so instead of saying it, give me details that can make the reader come to the conclusion that this woman is beautiful. And here, of course, you have to so my computer needs charge. Well, it says that needs 1 hour 20 minutes, and I don't think that. Thank you very much for interrupting, but still it can go on more. Yes. Yes, whenever you want to describe a person, feel free. In describing a person, do not limit yourself to physique or the physical appearance. Okay, you can describe the character also. So that would give you much to say. Okay. So physique, tall, thin, fat, whatever. Yes, yes, yes. You can include whatever you deem. Color of the skin, yes. Character, you can talk about different characters of that person. Now, when we say character, talking about kind, nice, yes, patient. Whatever adjectives to describe this, or nasty, unkind, whatever to describe. It depends, of course. Your description must meet the topic sentence. Of course, when you describe, for example, let's say describe someone you respect, we expect that your description will lead us to why you respect that person. Okay, again, if we say describe a nasty person, even your description can lead us to come to the conclusion that this person is nasty, and it's not just his character which is nasty. Sometimes the physical appearance can be, or the character can be reflected in the physical appearance, or at least this is how we can see. You know what happens when we describe people? If you like someone, you can describe him as the most good-looking person in the world. And if you dislike the same person, you can describe him as the worst-looking person in the world. It's subjective. It's value judgment. Okay, and it's normal. Okay, what matters is that in your description should meet the idea you would like to transmit to the reader. If it is a positive idea or a negative one. Yes, last, very quickly, because I have another course with another group right now, so we have to finish. Now, personification. What do you mean by personification?
It's to give
Speak up. I can't hear you.
It's to give a human value to an animal or an object. Or
yes. Like okay. So you can describe a tree, but it's like the example here. But you describe it as if you are describing a person. And it happens sometimes. You are in a forest at night. You are afraid. Pay attention in human. Again here, interference of French. Check the spelling of the word. Again, humain in French with A-I-N, whereas in English with A-N. And we have yes, my dog. I was talking with my dog, and you know, our relationship with animals, Moroccans, is not the same in general, not the same as Europeans. That's why it's normal to hear, for example, a person talking about his dog and saying he or she. Okay, normally we said we keep on teaching you that if you want to talk about animals, you have to use it. But when you consider this dog as a friend, and you can see that, I mean, people talking to their dogs, maybe because they have no one to talk to. It happens. And you can see people, if you have been to a European country, the remark that you can see is that there you have old people walking with their dogs and cats, and they're literally talking to them. They understand well, maybe. Okay, now, so if you believe that they understand, of course, well, a trained dog. What's funny is that I can see some youngsters nowadays in the neighborhood. It has become a kind of hobby, everyone with his dog, and everyone is playing the master and training his dog. What is funny is that they think that teaching dogs is an easy task, and then can see very funny things that he's talking to his dog, and he seems not to understand. So the problem is not in the dog, the problem is in the teacher. Okay. So personification. So here talking about the tree, describing it as a person. As I told you the story of you walking in a forest at night, you are afraid. When you look at the trees, they can look like a ghost, like people following you, and their leaves and their branches look like hands. They'd like to catch. Now here you can describe, imagine the situation. You can describe a scary experience by using personification. Again, this is a way to in description. Last thing, at least, what is important in the last two sentences? Yes? Yes, try not to write a very short paragraph, but writing long paragraph does not mean long for the sake of being long. To have a long paragraph, you need to include as many details as you can. Long paragraph means including many details, of course, related to the topic. It's not adding anything which does not help in developing your main idea or main topic. Enough descriptions, okay? So many details means more descriptions. All right, I think I have to stop here because I'm a little late. Normally, I have to start the course with the other group. So I guess that you have more or less an idea about how to write a descriptive paragraph. You can read in internet about how to write descriptive paragraphs. This is what I do, what we do, teachers. I mean, we look in internet, we look in books, and we try to take things that can help you. This is something that you can do yourself, okay? So I wish you good luck. This is our last session. Maybe the exam will be postponed. In case it is postponed, you will be informed. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Please, can I ask you, please?
Very quickly, yes.
Yes. What is your next course for now? Which
applied linguistics S5 semester 5.
No. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Teacher,
yes.
Teacher, can you share with us this lesson at classroom, please?
Of course, I will put it. All
Thank
right.
you, teacher. Thank you.
Goodbye.